Well, okay. What's up, YouTube? We're back in my kitchen today. It's Sunday morning and I am making myself some breakfast, and I thought that this would be a great time for me to chat with you all while I make my breakfast. So I do go to the gym Sunday mornings. I personally like going to the gym on the weekends. I find that keeps me within my routine. And obviously, from the title of today's video, that's what we're gonna talk about, how we can stay in our routine on the weekends, because obviously this is a big struggle I see constantly from a lot of people. I've been coaching for over 10 years now, and the weekends, whoo man, they just kick people's ass when it comes to them actually being successful with their health and fitness related goals. So something that I have found helpful for me and a lot of my clients is, number one, to still get in some form of movement. And I recommend maybe taking Mondays or Tuesdays off from actually going to the gym. For a lot of people, if you have kiddos and things like that, Monday mornings are extremely hectic. Why put even additional pressure on yourself by trying to get in your first training session of the week on such a hectic day? Yeah, of course, this isn't the case for everybody, but if this is the case for you, why not have your day one start on Saturday, day two start on Sunday, take a break Monday, Tuesday, and jump back and finish your split on Wednesday, Thursday. Like I said, that's the first thing that I have found to be very helpful with staying in your routine during the weekends. Now, the second thing is to try to keep your meals as similar as possible, especially if you're just starting out with your health and fitness related goals. Guess what? You do not need to have a different meal every single day when it comes to your lunch, your dinners, your breakfast, your snacks. I get it. Variety is nice. Variety is important as well too, but it's also extremely overwhelming because you're constantly making decisions all day long. What should I have for lunch? What should I have for dinner? And you're asking that question constantly. No wonder why so many people are turned off by tracking their food, because each day you're having to enter in new recipes, new ingredients, new snacks, new different types of foods. It's exhausting. And if you're a mother of four, if you have so many other responsibilities and more important decisions, in my opinion, to make in a day, why not just take that pressure off of yourself yet again? Keep things as similar, as boring as you can on a day-to-day basis, and it helps reduce that decision fatigue, so that way you can stay on track with your daily calorie intake, your calorie budget, so that way you can actually start seeing the results that you're looking for versus seeing results until Friday, the weekend hits, and you feel like you're starting over Monday morning. So obviously, right, if you are going to keep your meals similar, you better enjoy what you are consuming. So this morning, I'm just making an egg bagel sandwich. I have had this for probably over a year now, almost every single day post-workout. I enjoy it. It's yummy. I'll switch it up where sometimes I'll have like a 4-cheese bagel. Today I am having a maple French toast. So good with an egg and some cheese. And I enjoy what I am eating. Therefore, it's easy for me to have this meal on a Sunday, to have this meal on a Wednesday. It's no different, to the point where I feel like, oh my gosh, the weekend's finally here. I can take a break from my nutrition because I hate what I'm eating so much in a given week that I feel like I need to take a break on the weekends. Not really. I enjoy what I'm eating enough that I don't care if it's Sunday, if it's Saturday, or if it's Monday. I'm still gonna have this as my breakfast each day. Now again, that's not to say that you need to do that all the time. Variety is important, but if you're in a learning phase right now, or if you're at a sticking point where you're not seeing the results that you're looking for, by making things more similar every single day, takes that guesswork out of it, so you can see that downward linear drop that you're hoping for, if fat loss is even your goal, regardless if it's fat loss or body composition changes or just energy, performance, whatever the case may be. Keeping things similar, our metabolisms, our body, they crave consistency. And it makes a big difference. Next, it's gonna be water. Water is something that we underconsume quite a bit, especially on the weekends, especially if you don't get up as early as you typically do during the week. During the week, I get up at 4:30. On the weekends, I get up at 6. So that's almost a 2-hour difference where I've lost 2 hours of my ability to stay hydrated because I drink quite a bit of water in the morning. So I'm more aware of that. Like, okay, I have some catching up to do on the weekends to make sure that I'm staying nice and hydrated. And so many people, they roll their eyes at water, and it's tough. Like, water is a difficult habit for a lot of people. A lot of people struggle with consuming enough water. But here's the thing, you guys. When you are thirsty, when you're dehydrated, the sensation of it is basically the same as when you are hungry. So if you are dehydrating yourself on the weekends, you likely think that you're more hungry on the weekends. And what do? We overeat, and overconsumption of calories, the risk of that goes up quite tremendously over the weekend simply because we're not drinking enough water. So being way more mindful by having a water bottle right next to you at all times is a great way for it to be in sight, in mind, and you can make it a consistent priority for yourself. Like, this thing, like, it's glued to me. It should be glued to you as, like, more than your phone is. I don't even, oh, my phone's over there. But you know what I mean? Like, our water bottle should be glued to us just as much, if not more, than our cell phones. And that's going to be an active way for us to be more mindful to drink more water. In addition to that, have a glass of water before and after each meal. Again, just kind of eliminating that noise, whether or not you're truly as hungry as you feel or whether or not you're just dehydrated or thirsty. Because like I said, those two sensations feel basically the same. So we as human beings, we suck at telling the difference, at differentiating whether or not we're actually thirsty or hungry. So making sure that we stay on top of our water is extremely important. So don't roll your eyes at staying hydrated during the weekends. Next piece of advice, and I know people aren't gonna like this one, is to try to go to bed at the same time during the weekends. I'm not saying if, like, I go to bed during the week at like 8:30. I don't go to bed at 8:30 on Friday and Saturday nights, but I do try to make sure that I'm within probably like a 1-hour difference. So I'm typically in bed by 9:30, no later than 10 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays. And that's because you want to give your circadian rhythm consistency. If you're still trying to go to bed at a reasonable hour, you're not sacrificing your sleep, and you're still getting up at a decent time. Like I said, I get up at 6. Some people, that seems crazy, but for me, I'm sleeping in by another hour, hour and a half in comparison to what I am used to. So I'm not saying that you need to go to bed at the exact same time, but I wouldn't sleep in until like 9 o'clock if you typically get up at 6 o'clock. You know, give yourself about an hour window difference so that way you can, yes, unwind a little bit and kind of disrupt your routine ever so slightly, but we want to try to stay within our routine as best as possible. And the reason for that is because it's going to allow you to get caught up on some rest, so that way you're not irritable on the weekend, because more irritability causes us to overconsume calories. It's also going to keep the timing of your hydration and your meals in line, so that way your hunger cues feel more normalized and not all out of whack because your sleeping patterns are all out of whack. So taking the time to make sure that we are still prioritizing our sleep on the weekends, it makes such a big difference. I've noticed this in a lot of my clients. When they take the time to actually make sure that their sleep isn't being sacrificed on the weekends, they find that they are much more successful at staying on track during the weekends. The next thing that I would do is try to pre-enter your macros if you track your macros, but I would try to pre-enter it into your macro tracking app in advance. If you take the time to actually do that the night before, you're not left scrambling at the end of the day to try to hit your targets. Or even if you track as you go throughout the day, it's very difficult to actually be successful at the game of Tetris if you aren't taking the time to plan ahead. So take 10-15 minutes the night before, pre-enter what you plan on eating the following day. So taking the time to pre-enter things can really help ensure that you're actually being successful with your macronutrient targets and you're not left scrambling at the end of the day. And then the last piece of advice here is I would set up some non-negotiable tasks for yourself. A non-negotiable task is where you have like bare minimum tasks that you need to accomplish during the weekends. And this can be a helpful way to still keep you in the driver's seat when things kind of hit the fan and things don't go according to plan. Maybe your friend wants to go out on a Saturday night and you want to go. You've analyzed the trade-offs. You're like, you know what? I haven't seen my friend for a long time. It would be really nice to see her. I'm going to go out and eat. And obviously that kind of throws a wrench in your plans. And that's where a lot of people, they say, oh, well, screw it, all or nothing mentality. I'll start fresh on Monday. By taking the time to plan out some bare minimum goals for yourself on the weekend, again, can keep you in the driver's seat and keep you still in control. So what I like to do is, like, say I can't track my macros for a given day and the day's just gotten away from me, I'm not eating my typical foods, what can I do in those types of situations versus reverting to an all or nothing, screw it mentality, reverting to non-negotiable tasks. So examples of this would be, okay, well, if I can't track my food for the day, number one, I'm gonna make sure that I am having high protein at each meal. If I'm going out to eat, I'm gonna get like a chicken salad instead of the fettuccine Alfredo. And I know people hear that, they're like, oh, I don't wanna get a salad, it's super boring and it's not gonna taste good. The chef's job, you guys, is to make sure that the meals actually taste good. So I have gone to so many places where the salads actually are amazing. They taste amazing, much better than what I can make, I'll assure you. So taking that mindset and reminding yourself of that can be a great way for you to still make smart, healthy choices when you go out and eat versus thinking like, oh, well, this is the one time I'm gonna go out to eat. I'm gonna get the most hyper palatable, calorie dense option on the menu. You can still make smart choices and enjoy yourself. So that's the first non-negotiable goal that I'll set for myself. The second one is to just get in some form of activity. Maybe I can't make it to the gym, or maybe I'm camping, whatever the case may be, you can't get to the gym. That's okay, you can still move your body. You can still set a step count goal for yourself. You can implement a circuit training for yourself. You can bring some bands with you to the lake. You can go do some hiking. Maybe instead of going out for drinks with your friend, ask her if she wants to go for a hike or go kayaking or go paddleboarding. That is another way to accomplish that non-negotiable goal of just doing something that's active. And the third one is to make sure that water is being prioritized. This is, again, like what we talked about previously, super important. So that way we reduce that risk of over-consuming calories if we are going out to restaurants. So I'll make sure like I have my water bottle with me while I'm traveling to specific destinations, and then having a glass of water before and after each meal. And then the last one is to stop eating when I feel about 80% full. I get it. A lot of people have grown up in a society or a generation where they were told like you need to eat everything that's on your plate. There's starving kids in the world, yada, yada, yada. I get it. I grew up in that time frame as well too. So it's a tough mindset to break where like we have what's on our plate and we think like, oh, I need to eat it all. We are not required to eat everything that is on our plate. So stop eating when you feel physically full. If mentally that's hard for you to do just because of lack of self-awareness, what a lot of people will do is they'll get a to-go box before they even start eating their meal, and they'll put half of it in the to-go box, put it away, and then they can still finish technically what is on their plate. So just being more mindful with tasks like that make a huge difference. So set up some non-negotiable tasks for yourself so that way if things don't go according to plan, it's okay. You're still in the driver's seat, you're still in control, you still did the bare minimum of the goals that you have set out for yourself, so that way you can still be successful. Remember, you guys, when I say like being successful and being consistent, I'm not saying that you need to chase perfection. Stop chasing something that doesn't exist. So stop saying screw it the second you feel like, oh, I can't track, screw it, I'll start fresh on Monday. You still have a responsibility to take care of yourself. You still have the choice and the ability to be mindful of your choices if you are put into situations where you aren't in full control of the meals in front of you, you aren't in full control of the activity that you can do. You can still make smart and mindful choices with whatever it is that you're doing in whatever situation you are in. All right, my bagel is cold. I hope that you guys found this helpful.